thank you.
Alright, no worries.
Gotta make sure my hair's right.
So this is a play, it's called Monsters and it's by Nicholas Radstrom. It's a verbatim play. I'm a little bit obsessed by verbatim plays, and this one I'm really sorry on a lovely Friday sunny afternoon, but it's about the killing of James Bulger. Do you know anything about this? It happened in like the 90s, the early 90s. Yes, so this was a 2-year-old who was murdered by some 10-year-olds in Liverpool, and it was, it was really, really shocking. Well, still shocking, but it was, incredibly shocking at the time. And this is a verbatim play based on the transcripts from the police interviews. But what's really nice about it is it also has these moments in for the chorus work, which is what I'd like to work on today. Again, a little bit obsessed with like Greek theatre and chorus work and whatever. So today I would like to work on the first scene, it's the opening scene to the performance. I'm going to apologise for the script, it's really printed off really badly, so we'll do a reading through first, just to sort out any moments. I'm going to read through the first scene, but I think what I'd like to work on is page 18 today. But we'll read through the whole scene just so you get a feel for it. We'll go from, we'll read through, but we'll go from the chorus leader section. Matt, I would love for you to be the chorus leader, and Rhiannon, would you do the chorus? It says for 4 voices, but when it comes over here it just says chorus.
Yes.
So if you could read that, that would be lovely. Amazing. It's non-naturalistic, especially in these scenes. They do move on later on to the transcripts of the interview, which are a little bit more natural. The playwright at the beginning, I'd very much like to kind of respect his requirements. He talks about it being like a meditation room that you're in, like you would have at an airport, like a prayer room, but it's not linked to any kind of religion. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work with this space. We're going to have a table and 2 chairs, and you can play with these, you can move them around as you wish within the space. Obviously be careful, because I've noticed this collapses, so just don't hurt yourself. We can mess around it later on and see how draggable it is, or you can just ignore it altogether. So this is my kind of idea of it being like a kind of neutral space, a meditation space, but also kind of relating this idea of like an interview space, where you would have the table and the 2 chairs that would divide the police detective and the children that they're interviewing. My kind of vision is like theatre of community type idea, but more so about these guys. So I want you to make the audience feel really uncomfortable. That's your objective in this. My reasoning behind that is the kind of big message, the big theme in this play is that when the little boy James was being taken away by the 2 10-year-olds, 38 witnesses witnessed this but didn't step in.
Yeah.
And this is sort of the discussion about society. Is the biggest threat to society actually society and our lackadaisical approach to things. So these are your witnesses. I know it's lovely, isn't it? These are your witnesses, and this is society, and I want you to make them feel uncomfortable about are they the type of people that would step in, or would they get involved in questioning their decisions. I suppose there's a Brechtian kind of element to it as well, and you don't want them to get caught up in the emotion of you. So you're kind of delivering, you're not playing realistic, you're just representing the information, and you don't want them to get caught up in the emotion of it. What you want them is to be questioning themselves and their actions within society. So your objective is to make them feel as uncomfortable as possible.
Okay.
So we can play within. Yeah, as soon as you said
No,
this, you're like, I love going to this one.
That's my good task.
Fabulous. So we'll play along where the audience are. So if we just cut out, this area for play, we'll work on here, but we'll do a read through first because it's a really bad photocopy, and I couldn't get a hold of correct paper yesterday.
And so,
So are you okay just to read that? Yeah, you're going to read the first section.
Is that
Yeah,
me?
that entire
Okay.
page would be
Oh,
yourself.
no.
Yeah. And
Oh,
you.
sorry.
17.
So we are starting on here.
Yes. So
That's
sorry.
that's first time. So this is me.
Yes, you're going to read
Okay.
that whole first page, and then Matt, you're playing the chorus leader
Okay.
on that.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why you came here. I don't know what you expect from a performance about two children who kill a third. I don't know what you expect to hear. You probably want to know why. Why did that which soon will happen have already happened? How could such a thing happen? Children killing children, brutally, ruthlessly, planlessly, destructively. That situation must surely be so different from anything I know that it would never happen anywhere near me. Someone must tell me why, so I need never think about it. I don't know why. I don't know if there is an answer. Maybe there are many answers. I don't know what to believe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you are prepared to handle what has already happened and will happen here. Maybe you are not here to understand. Maybe you are here to keep that thought at bay. The thought that something like that could happen. Children killing children. I don't know what you intend to do about it. I don't know if you can do anything about it. I don't know if we can give you any answers. I don't know if you can give us any answers.
I don't know what you expect to experience now that you've come to the theater to see two children killing a third. Do you want to upset yourself with an experience that is frightening, disturbing, moving, educational? Do you think it is useful to watch the enactment of two children killing a third? Do you think it might teach you something? Do you think you could tell your friends? Last week I went to the theater and saw two children killing a third. That it could happen? That it already happened? And you tell your friends it was...
frightening, disturbing, moving, educational,
or just...
silly, neurotic, pretentious, sentimental.
But I ask you, why should you care what you think of our performance? And about what happens here without you? What we want to know is...
Are you prepared to be a witness? If so, will you only be a witness? Or are you prepared to intervene? Are you prepared to step in and prevent what is about to happen? Are you prepared to go from being an onlooker to being someone who acts?
And if you aren't prepared to act, what will your actions be?
Thank you. So obviously we're breaking the fourth wall, and in the kind of theatre of cruelty style, the sort of main tools that you have available to yourself are like the kind of grotesque movements, use of sound, so you can play with, you know, anything that chairs can do. Awkward silences as well, it's possibly something that you can have a play with. So I'm going to place the chairs just now, but that doesn't have to be where they start, finish, move off. I'm just going to place them down here. And can we start on, I don't know what the expect experience, Matt, on page 18? Would be lovely, thanks.
I don't know what you expect to experience.
Now that you've come to the theater to see two children killing a third, do you want to upset yourself with an experience that is frightening, disturbing,
think it's useful to watch? The enactment of 2 children killing a third. Do you think it might teach you something? Do you think you can tell your friends? You know, last week I went to the theater and I saw 2 children killing a third. That it could happen. That it has happened. And you can tell your friends it was...
Frightening. Disturbing. Moving. Educational.
Or just...
Silly. Neurotic. Pretentious. Sentimental.
But I ask you, why should we care? What you think of our performance and what about what happened here without you? What we want to know is...
Are you prepared to be a witness? If so, will you only be a witness? If so, will you only be a witness? Or are you prepared to intervene? Are you prepared to step in and prevent what is about to happen? Are you prepared to go from being an onlooker to being someone who acts?
And if you are prepared to act, what are your actions? And what will your actions be?
Excellent, thank you very much. I really enjoyed the scraping. It wasn't something I'd thought of before on the wall. Maybe avoid some of the reenactment stuff. Just, you know, because we're trying not to play, we're trying to be representational, so we're not trying to be the killers. I really enjoyed this. I felt there's like a symbolism of these 2 chairs going down. But I'm wondering if we have one chair going down and the symbolism of James. They talk about finding, the author talks about finding a symbol in Jamie, and I had some ideas in my head, but actually just watching this, I feel like the symbol could be a chair, and the way the chair is, it tumbles, it falls, so something maybe to play with. I really enjoyed as well when you were together. It felt like you were a united force, and as a united force, you've got more impact on the audience.
Yeah.
So can we try that again, please? Maybe thinking about this united force.
Okay.
But again, I loved some of the sounds you were making, so maybe something we can
Play with still.
play with still. Is there any place you would like to start with the chairs this time? So I placed them
Shall
the
we
last
try,
time, so
Spring?
yep.
See what that does? No?
Yeah.
Another idea? Or do you want to try this way? Facing each other. Try this.
So again, just from I don't know what you expect experience.
I don't know what you expect to experience.
Now that you've come to the theater to see 2 children killing a third, do you want to upset yourself with an experience that is frightening, disturbing, moving, emotional? Do you think it's useful to watch?
Can I take you back there? There was something beautiful you did there with the mirroring. It was gorgeous. So can we go back and do that again? And let's play with some of the silences as well, because obviously you're working with those awkward silences that none of us enjoy on stage. So let's play with some of the awkward silences, but maybe we have some of the mirroring. Yeah, the eeriness of them, and maybe play with some of the mirroring, because it was really, really, yeah, it came so naturally to both of you. I think it's something we should work with.
I can't mirror picking up a chair like you. So I just had to stay down.
So even if you're not using some of the words to begin with, you're just in the moment of silence,
Okay.
and just
I don't know what you expect to experience. Now that you've come to the theater to see two children killing a third, do you want to upset yourself with an experience that is frightening, disturbing, moving, emotional? Do you think it's useful to watch? The enactment of two children killing a third. Do you think it might teach you something? Do you think you can tell your friends? Last week, I went to the theater and I saw two children killing a third. It could happen. That it actually happened. And you tell your friends it was
Frightening. Disturbing. Moving. Educational.
That's nice too.
or just
Silly. Neurotic. Pretentious. Sentimental.
But I ask you, why should we care? What you think of our performance and what happens here without you. What we want to know is,
Are you prepared to be a witness? If so, will you only be a witness? Or are you prepared to intervene? Are you prepared to step in and prevent what is about to happen? Are you prepared to go from being an onlooker to being someone who acts?
and if you aren't going to act, what will your actions be?
Thank you. Also, there were some moments there that were really pretty, so sorry to interject, but I enjoyed, I just enjoy your togetherness, it's really lovely. I'd maybe like to try it again,
Yes.
and I think, reading between the lines, I felt like you started off the mirror, you were taking that leader, but it did shift over to yourself.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see you starting off the mirroring and see
Starting off the mirroring.
how it works. But I'd also like to, what we did in the first run through is bring that back with getting more in the audience's face.
Okay.
It's easy to forget about them because that's, you know, the natural response, but let's try and get much more
Interaction.
more interaction with them. Let's try and really intimidate them, so let's try
Okay.
and ramp that up as much as we can. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So again, if you want to stick with the chairs in that position, or if you want to, because you're messing around with some things, I'm happy for you to change more than one
Yeah.
thing at the moment. It's up to yourselves.
It's easy for us to watch each other.
Yeah.
Well, you're starting, so I'm following you on this one.
Am
The mirroring.
I? Should we try this way and see what happens? We might not be able to get it right, but.
Can I, sorry, the line, the silly, neurotic, pretentious, sentimental as well,
Yes.
you're kind of giving the audience an out at that point, like,
Okay.
Do you know, you've come to see this performance,
Mm.
and it's a little bit grotesque, really, that you want to come to a performance about the killing of a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Are you going to go home later on and tell your pals that you went to see this performance because it was just silly?
Yes.
Or I was just having a moment, neurotic, pretentious.
Yeah.
You know, it's this new style of theatre.
Mhm.
Going to come along, or it's sentimental. You
Yes.
I have to come and support
Yeah.
the victim.
So more directed at them this
Yeah,
time.
really
than the
use
Mark.
that idea of giving them an out. Sorry, Matt, have you got something?
No,
Oh, no.
he's copying me.
I'm going to go this side this time. Just when you're ready, guys.
I don't know what you expect to experience. Now that you've come to the theater to see 2 children killing a third, do you want to upset yourself with the experience that is frightening, disturbing? Moving, emotional, educational. Do you think it's useful to watch? Do you think it'll teach you something?
Happy accident, I like that.
Do you think you could tell your friends? Last week I went to the theater. I saw 2 children killing a third.
Don't be
That
scared
could
to break
happen.
from the mirroring, guys, at any point if it feels natural to
That
break.
could happen. That it already happened. And it could happen again. And you tell your friends it was
Frightening.
Lovely.
Disturbing. Moving. Educational.
or just
Silly. Neurotic. Pretentious. Sentimental.
but I ask you, why should we care what you think about our performances? And what happened here without you?
Nice.
What we want to know is,
Are you prepared to be a witness?
That's brilliant.
If so, will you only be a witness? Or are you prepared to intervene? Are you prepared to step in and prevent what is about to happen? Are you prepared to go from being a onlooker to being someone who acts?
and if you're prepared to act, what will your actions be?
I'm loving the awkward silence.
I can
I'm not
hold
sure it works so well. Really. So,
That's
yes,
creepy.
if I was taking this on, obviously, you know, you're sort of stapling down where your sound and your grotesque movements and whatever working. But yeah, I really enjoyed what you brought to it. Some nice moments there that I hadn't expected altogether. It wasn't something I thought about. Obviously, at the beginning, I had put you out very separately. So it was really nice to see that togetherness, and it just felt right. So thank you for what you brought to it. Cheers.
Great, thank you. Any feedback? That was something very different, which was nice to see.
Oh, I like playing with stuff like that. I would very much recommend that if you're planning on staging this, have your actors come in off book day one.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's some
Yeah,
of
you can't
those.
play around with it as much. can you?
Yeah, because some of those awkward pauses was, and now I have to look down at the script.
Were you trying to mirror someone else as well?
Yeah.
But no, I think yeah, you can have a lot of fun doing stuff like that, and especially with theater of cruelty, using sound and atmospheres and stuff like that can just be so much more fun. But yeah, I think coming in and how you were just kind of watching and going, ooh, there's that, and yeah, just what you bring to it, and then kind of taking one thing and be like, ooh, the mirroring, yes, I like that, or like that one moment where we ended up behind each other, and you're like, yes, that. It's always fun when it's like, okay, as an actor, I then go, check, that's something that I can set in. And so, yeah, it's kind of like the line that we had earlier with the, kind of mocking thing. It's the same sort of thing. As soon as it's like something like that, I get to put a pin in and go, that's something that I can keep in while I can still explore. And as you're building that channel, things start kind of happening. So it is nice to have somebody on the outside. I like to call them the disembodied head. That is just like affirming things. It's like, that was great! And it's like, cool, I can lock that. So
Just while I'm talking about that, I
Yeah.
think you have to be careful with some actors though will be the opposite of that and they'll hate that and will actually stop every time
Yeah.
you speak.
Yeah.
Because when the director's speaking, I'll do something and do because I have something to say.
Yeah.
So I had to make that note that sometimes it can be
Really
it can be off-putting, just depends. It depends. So it's interesting you say you love that.
oh well, tangent. I was trained by a guy who literally, when he was directing, he would have his voice recorder, and he would just be talking the entire time I was doing things.
Oh my God.
So I just got used to having noise whenever I was doing anything.
Yeah, that's not normal.
Oh no, he would just be like, oh yeah, really? Yeah, I hate how he walked over there.
I think it's just a product of my old
Yeah.
brain that doesn't retain stuff as well,
Yeah.
so I've just got into this habit of, as I see it, because I'll forget it.
So again, that's what we're talking about. So I had two thoughts on it. Because one first thought was, it's what I certainly did when I worked with young people, because you're constantly encouraging. Yeah, that's great. Well done, Timmy. Great, that's good, John. Do you know what I'm doing? So I thought that was part of it.
Yeah.
And then also partly was thinking what made it nice, also maybe because it's being filmed here as well, is to use the technology and to actually every time you go through it, record it and note down little bits that you like, and then you can actually go back and watch it and see what people have done. I've definitely seen that in creating choreography or creating kind of like frantic assembly-esque kind of movement.
Yes.
Actors all try different things when you filmed it and you go that there looks good, which might help with that. But I would bet that it comes more from a encouraging in a place.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that's sidetracking.
No, yeah. Like, again, if you were to take this on, it's like we have the luxury of an audience here today, but we don't always have access to that. So how to combat that would be really interesting. I'd love to explore the sound more.
Yeah.
So even if we had more things to play with, like I saw the bin bag and I was like, oh, I want to hear
Yeah,
what the
what
sound
we're
is.
ruffled
Or
at,
if you had like different objects you could bring in, or like the can, and when you scrunch it, that particular sound element. And then I also thought about, because we had the audience here, it might have been also interesting to pull them in, and because you wanted that meditation, and I feel like we lost that a little bit.
Yeah.
So it would have been really cool maybe to create that meditative space if we were all in a circle. An example.
Something that I had thought about if I was ever doing it was actually bringing the audience into the middle, and you're playing on four sides, and they're placed in the centre.
But like, those are just suggestions.
No,
I just thought we lost a bit of that element,
No,
but also
absolutely.
I had a lot of fun exploring these exercises with the mimicking and the
the soundscape, and also how to kind of use the language itself. So within Shakespeare, it's like particularly like how to really hammer those moments in. It's just something that I was pulling from. I was like, how can I use these words to really make an impact, I think. Particularly if it's so verbatim as well, how verbatim are we going in regards to the transcript, and which is another whole interesting point. I thought your direction was really clear. I like that you sat us down and you gave us all of the information we needed to then take this off the page. It's really good to have a read through before, and again, thinking about, it was really nice to approach this from a whole different angle with like Brecht, Theatre of Cruelty, all of that stuff. So it was really enjoyable. I think you did really well. So well done.
Thank you. Thanks so
And
much.
I think that's the key idea, was that changing ideas to what happens in the room is such a big thing and a great thing to see. You know, when you watch something, you're like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. Well, let's go with that. It would be nice, I think, if after we finish again, just as we were saying, maybe after they've done a run, to go, I really like that. I really like that moment, and I really like that moment, because it felt, because it was happening in real time. I don't think these guys will be entirely conscious of what we were doing. That, you know, when you said that was good, whereas it might have been when you stood in front and you stood behind and created that picture there. That was really nice.
Yep.
So I think just being a bit more particular, Martin. This is what I liked afterwards. Would be nice. Just as a very general note, again, just as something happened here, which is something that I hadn't thought about mentioning. This idea of never repeating the same picture twice is a real interesting thing to think of as a director. So you have the two actors in the middle here, and they're both facing one another. Then loads and loads of stuff happened, you know, and just the nature of it was you both ended up at some point back in that same picture. And it would happen in every play that we've looked at, that's a possibility of that happening. And I think you have to be very careful about that. If you set up an image for the audience to see, and then the characters move around and things happen, blah blah blah, and then they return back to that place, it feels like the scene hasn't got any movement to it. So it's just a wee tiny little thing just having in the back of your head of like repeating the same picture, unless it's an absolute deliberate choice. Where you're going, I'm sure, like, you know, it's the exact same picture, but the classic storytelling thing is the world as it is, but everything gets shaken up, and now the world as it is, but with what's just happened. So you could go back and return to the same picture, but you know the character has been emotionally moved or whatever. But it's a deliberate choice, and you want to try when you can, unless it's that, to keep it fresh. Which I think is quite an easy thing to think about. I think as a director, and to try and it's easy to fix that. I think. Anyway, thank you very much, Kirsty.
Thank you.
One more.